There's a bottle of perfume sitting somewhere in your house right now. You bought it because you liked the smell, maybe because it gets you compliments, maybe because it makes you feel good. But here's what nobody tells you about that bottle. For most of human history, the people who wore perfume weren't doing it to smell nice. They were doing it to control people, to project power, to tell the world, without saying a single word, exactly who they were and what they were capable of. Kings figured this out thousands of years ago. And the perfume industry has been built on that psychology ever since. Today, we're going deep into the real history of perfume as a weapon of power. From ancient pharaohs to French kings, from Cleopatra's ships to Versailles. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you will never look at a perfume bottle the same way again. Let's get into it. So let's start at the very beginning. Ancient Egypt, 3,000 years ago. Ancient Egyptian rulers believed certain scents had divine properties, using them in religious rituals. For many civilizations, perfumes were more than just a pleasant aroma. They were a statement of wealth, influence, and spirituality. A key. But here's the thing that most people miss about Egypt. Perfume wasn't just spiritual, it was political. When a pharaoh walked into a room, they didn't just look different, they smelled different. Myrrh, frankincense, ingredients that common people couldn't access, couldn't afford, couldn't even find. In Egypt, perfumes were part of religious rituals, and only the most powerful figures such as pharaohs and priests had access to the finest oils and scents. Expert market research. So when the pharaoh walked past, and you smelled something extraordinary, something you'd never smelled before, your brain made an instant connection. This person is different. This person is above me. This person is divine. That's not accidental. That's engineered. Smell was the pharaoh's invisible crown. Now let's talk about someone who understood this better than almost anyone in history. Cleopatra. In Plutarch's Life of Antony, Cleopatra's arrival is staged so lavishly that the perfume from her vessel drifts to shore before she even speaks. She isn't merely entering a scene. She's setting the mood, framing herself, and turning diplomacy into spectacle before she opens her mouth. Free yourself. Think about what she did there. She arrived on a ship. Before anyone saw her face, before anyone heard her voice, they smelled her. The scent hit the shore first. People on the docks started reacting, whispering, looking toward the water. Something extraordinary is coming. And then she appeared. She had already won the room before she said a single word. That's not perfume, that's strategy. Cleopatra didn't just wear fragrance. She weaponized it. She understood that scent bypasses rational thinking and goes directly to emotion. And she used that to make people feel something, awe, desire, reverence, before they even had a chance to think. Now let's cross to ancient Persia, because the Persians took this even further. Persian kings had their own signature scents that their companions and relatives were not allowed to use. King Darius is often pictured holding his bottles of perfume or incense. Playbook beauty. Read that again. The king had a signature scent, and nobody else was allowed to wear it. This is genius-level status signaling. The moment anyone in the empire smelled that specific fragrance, they knew. The king is here, or has been here, or is coming. It's like a living logo, a sensory brand identity, centuries before anyone used those terms. And the fact that nobody else could wear it, that's the critical part. Exclusivity creates power. Scarcity creates value. The king's smell was as much a symbol of authority as his throne. Now let's go to Rome, because Rome took everything and made it bigger. From daily anointing after the bath to clouds of incense greeting emperors in the streets, scent became a language of status, ritual, and identity, at once a personal luxury and a public symbol of power. Grand View research. Romans were obsessed with perfume on a level that's genuinely hard to comprehend today. Romans were estimated to use about 2,800 tons of imported frankincense and 550 tons of myrrh a year. Playbook beauty. 2,800 tons, of frankincense per year. And Emperor Nero, who was famously excessive in literally everything. Nero preferred rose, saffron, quince blossom, Indian hyacinth, and myrrh. His servants massaged his body with custom-made perfumes, and even palace animals received scented oils. Deep market insights. Even the animals. He perfumed even the animals. But here's the thing, Nero understood something important. When the emperor smelled different from everyone else, when his presence was announced by an extraordinary fragrance, it reinforced the gap between him and ordinary citizens. Scent was hierarchy made physical. You couldn't see power, you couldn't touch power, but in ancient Rome, you could absolutely smell it. Now let's jump forward to France, because this is where the story gets truly extraordinary. King Louis XIV. Louis XIV took the trend for perfumery to new heights by commissioning his perfumer to create a new scent for each day of the week. Shelf-trend. A different perfume, every single day. I'm not gonna lie, when I first read that I literally stopped and laughed. A new perfume every day. 365 unique fragrances per year, just for one man. Versailles was so fragrant that the French court became known as the perfumed court. Throughout the palace, bowls were filled with flower petals to sweeten the air. Furniture was sprayed with perfume. Even visitors were sprayed with perfume on entering the palace. Shelf-trend. Think about what Louis was doing. He had created a physical environment that was unlike anything else on Earth. You walked through those gates, and you were hit with a wall of extraordinary fragrance. The kind of smell that exists nowhere else. That can only exist here, in Versailles, in the presence of the king. The Palace of Versailles was the material expression of Louis XIV's determination to bend the nobility to his personal authority. A court culture built around strict etiquette and constant visibility around the king. Perfumed gloves and scented products peaked at Louis XIV's court, becoming a part of the court's standards of appearance. Free yourself. Perfume was literally court policy. You couldn't smell wrong at Versailles. Your fragrance was part of your compliance. Now here's the part that I find most fascinating, and this is my personal take on all of this. Nothing has actually changed. We think we're sophisticated. We think we choose perfume for personal reasons, because we like the smell, because it suits us. But here's the truth. Today, luxury perfumes continue to represent prestige, becoming a way for individuals to showcase their taste, identity, and social standing. Expert market research. The pharaoh wore rare frankincense to signal divinity. You wear a $300 bottle to signal something about who you are. The mechanism is identical. The psychology is identical. The only difference is, the pharaoh was honest about it. When you put on Tom Ford or Creed or Chanel, you're not just choosing a smell. You're choosing a signal, a message you send to every person you meet before you say a single word. Cleopatra's ship arrived before she did. Your perfume enters the room before you do. Different century, same power move. So that's the real history of perfume. Not a beauty product, not a luxury accessory. A weapon, a signal, a tool of power that kings and queens and emperors figured out thousands of years before modern marketing existed. And the next time you spray something on in the morning, just know, you're doing exactly what the pharaohs did. You're telling the world who you are, before you even open your mouth. Now drop it in the comments. What does your perfume say about you? What message are you sending to the world? I genuinely want to know. Subscribe, because next episode we're going into the science of why the same perfume smells completely different on you versus your friend. Your skin chemistry, your hormones, your microbiome, all of it shapes the fragrance in ways that are genuinely mind-blowing. I'll see you there.